are dead. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead.
Well, hello there, breathers.
And welcome back
to another fabulous episode
of All My Favorite People Are Dead. I'm Sue Teresi.
I'm Shannon Butler.
And welcome to our show with this fabulous theme song.
You were saying, I'm proud of my theme song.
Just so people know, I've been getting such positive feedback about our theme song. And it is all my little Shannon. My little Shannon did our song.
I have to say, no, hold on a second. I got to give credit to a coworker of mine, Jessica Sherman, because it was when I was coming up with the idea of doing a podcast, which really, as she was actually saying, you would basically have a great podcast. And then when I came up with the name, she started kind of singing.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, a theme song. Yeah, I need a theme song. And then I went home and started recording. I'm writing more lyrics.
Well, it's lovely.
Yeah, you know.
So Shannon did all that, and yes, that is her singing and making up the words, and it's very catchy.
Hey,
and we all love that song. So I hope you sing it in your head because of Shannon.
I was actually thinking of changing it up too, like doing different versions of it.
Oh.
Like I should do like one that's kind of like spooky for Halloween season.
Oh, let's do that. Oh, can I? I don't.
You want to sing?
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I can do it in a weird voice.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Or I'll do interpretive dance. Oh, wait, nobody can see that.
Nobody can see that.
We'll discuss.
TikTok
to be
video.
continued.
Well, I'm glad. And actually, I got another one of those. I don't know. This is the second time that someone said, "Oh, hey, all my favorite people are dead." I'm like, "Oh, you listen to the podcast?"
Yeah.
No, I just really like the title. I'm like,
That's
oh,
right.
Oh, come on.
I could do the Jewish version.
The Jewish version?
All my favorite people are dead. Oh my God, you didn't wear a sweater. How's that? I told you I was sick. You know, one of those.
That's good.
Is that funny?
That's a Jewish version?
It really is.
Okay.
It really is. It's
right.
It's very Jewish. I'm cold. Take a sweater. You'll get a chill. You'll die.
That's the Jewish mom version.
The Jewish mom version.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Jewish mom version.
That's good.
I think, okay. So maybe I'll do it that way. Okay.
We got to mess around with it.
Yeah.
Do a little recording session.
Do you want to die and be one of my favorite people who are dead? Take a jacket.
That's good.
Good.
That's good.
Did you wash your hands? How's that? Is that better? That's going to be it. That's going to be the Jewish mom version
of my
you don't want to die. So, okay.
Wear a mask.
Yeah. Wash your hands. Call me when you're home. How do I know you got home? You could be one of my favorite dead people. Do I know? Text me when you get home.
And then we have a regular patron at my library who keeps coming and going, I'm trying to get on your podcast, but it's near misses. I'm like, please don't. He wants to
be on it with us.
No. Like be one of the people we talk about.
Oh, he's trying to kill himself. What the hell? What the hell?
He's being silly.
Oh, that shit ain't funny.
No, I know. I'm like,
okay, wow, okay.
No, David, no.
Don't do that.
No.
Okay. Tell him we don't do the show anymore and he can't die.
Can't die.
Okay. Yeah.
People
we're
just
not. Yeah. We're not looking for recruits. That's not the purpose of this.
It.
Okay.
All right.
So, what should we talk about today, my love?
All right. So today, I thought I would talk about one of the most beautiful and intelligent actresses of all time.
You?
No.
Oh, you're not an actress.
I mean, I've done some acting in the past, but
you're beautiful and intelligent.
Well, I got my moments.
Look at me. I got a face for podcasting.
Me too. Me too. This particular lady was just a fascinating character, but also kind of a sad character.
Sad life.
It was kind of a sad life, yeah. So today we're going to be talking about the infamous Hedy Lamarr.
Headley?
Headley. The name's Headley.
Headley Lamarr? Harvey Korman?
We're actually, that does kind of come up in this.
Oh, goody. I love that stuff.
I love anything by Mel Brooks, I love.
God forbid, I was going to say we should do him, but he's not dead.
He's not dead yet.
He's like 90 blah blah.
He's up there. But
I
he's
love
hanging
him.
in there.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just one of the documentaries that I watched about Headley, he was in.
That's a riot.
Because he was just like, she was the most beautiful woman in the world, and I wanted to take her out. You gotta marry her, at least feel her up under a table. You know?
Instead, I created a character in her image, or the name at least. That's so funny.
So she was the inspiration for Snow White, and Catwoman.
Oh,
yeah.
Both.
Yeah, both.
Now,
which is two totally different
now I was just going to
characters.
say, Snow White,
Yeah.
Catwoman,
Yeah.
not, both beautiful in their own way, but
Yeah.
meow. Brrr. I remember, you don't remember Eartha Kitt.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Eartha Kitt was the original
Yeah.
Catwoman. Brrr.
Yeah.
I loved her.
Absolutely.
And Snow White.
And Snow White, which is just wild, and it kind of gives you an idea of some of the characters that she played during her career.
Yeah,
kind
how
of ups and
versatile.
downs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Two
she
different
was.
extremes on beauty,
Yes,
right?
exactly. And she was rather complicated because people generally only considered her beauty rather than her brains. That was pretty standard at the time.
I've read articles when models,
Yeah.
especially male models,
Well.
they say the same thing. They're extremely good looking, and people think they're morons.
Right.
I don't understand the correlation that if you're really exceptionally good looking, you got to be a moron.
That actually brings me to my favorite Hedy Lamarr quote.
Okay.
She says, "Any girl can look glamorous. All she has to do is stand still and look stupid."
There you go.
That's-
Wow. Wow. It's true, right?
It's true.
Because if you're beautiful, you got to be a moron.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Right.
So only ugly people are smart? I don't get how that
No.
prejudice works.
Yeah. She was a brilliant inventor.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
was
yeah.
like when she got bored, she invented shit and
Yeah.
like things that could change the world. Really.
Yeah.
It's because of her that we have modern smartphones and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and GPS. All because of
Want to
her.
know what I do when I get bored? It's one of two things. It's add to cart,
Add to cart. Yeah.
or I watch cat videos.
Oh yeah.
That's what I do when I'm bored. Am I making anything that can change mankind? No. Not really.
I don't make anything. Well, I make jewelry
Yes?
or food.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make a mess.
Okay.
Oh, and also I think I'm a magician.
Oh.
Because my husband says I make money disappear.
Oh yeah.
So I can do that pretty good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
for
I
sure.
make a difference. Ah, I'm a teacher. I make a difference. Yeah.
you
Okay.
go.
Yeah, all right. Shout out to my teacher friend.
So let's talk about Hedwig Eva Marie Keisler.
Hedwig?
That's yes.
Wasn't that the name of the owl in Harry Potter?
That's her.
Hedwig.
Hedwig.
Hedwig?
I know.
That's a name?
Hedwig. Well,
Hedwig.
She was born in Vienna. So
I don't care. Hedwig?
that was her actual name. Hedwig Eva Marie Keisler.
Keep
Yeah.
the Marie or the Ava, but the
Yeah.
Hedwig?
I know.
Jiminy crickets.
So she just shortened it to Hedy. Yeah.
Hedy.
She was born November 9th, 1914 in Vienna. She's the only child of Gertrude Lischwitz and Emil Keisler.
Okay.
Both her mother and father were of Jewish heritage.
Oh, you know how those Jews are.
But her mother actually converted to Catholicism.
Yeah.
But Hedy didn't seem interested in being Jewish or Catholic or anything, really.
Okay, so she was atheist. Atheist.
She didn't
Good English.
really talk about religion at all. And part of that, I think, is because when she was later employed by Louis B. Mayer of MGM, he didn't want anybody
To be Jewish?
to be religious at all.
Yeah.
Like, don't talk about your religion. Don't emphasize whether you're Jewish, Catholic, whatever. Just don't. You're an actor.
Don't
That's
ask,
what you
don't
are.
tell
Yeah.
in its primitive form.
That's basically it.
yeah, well, that's safe.
Yeah, it is
I mean,
safe.
that's pretty
It's safe, yeah.
especially with anti-Semitism.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, she grew up in a very Jewish part of Vienna, very cultured, beautiful society. Her family were basically upper middle class. Her father was the director of a bank, so they were doing quite well.
There we go with the Jews in the bank. There we go. Thanks, Shannon.
Well, just the facts.
Yeah,
It's the facts.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
the
I
facts.
see where this is going.
She became fascinated with the world of acting as a child. Her father would take her to the opera and the theater all the time. She loved her father, like worshipped the guy. She also was fascinated with mechanics, which is strange for a little girl.
Especially
She actually
back then.
took apart her music box when she was little and put it back together.
So, don't laugh at me.
I'm going to laugh.
I know you will.
I know.
Everyone is going to. I
Okay.
shouldn't even say this, and I'm
Okay.
going to deny it. When I was a little girl, I had like not the Barbie dolls, but the other dolls, I would take the heads off. Not in a Morticia Adams way, but I wanted to see how the eyes opened and closed. I didn't
okay.
understand, like, if you look, there's a hinge and the thing, and I wanted to know that and
Okay.
how they operated. They operate on a hinge.
Okay.
And I had a lot of, I put the heads back, you know, but I just saw something on a video. I could probably take the head and put it on a light bulb and like make like a lamp. People do that and glow up the head, but
Yeah,
I
okay.
digress.
Okay. No,
I think we just lost like the 2 listeners we have.
Anyway.
Alrighty.
Now, Hedy claimed that her and her mother were not close, that her mother didn't want her. Hedy believed that her mom really wanted a son. essentially.
That's nice.
And that this she would never bother to tell Hedy that she was attractive, and she didn't encourage her to look in the mirror. Her mother insisted later on. She said that she did not want her daughter to rely entirely on her looks, but to also develop her other skills. So it was
get that. But
yeah,
you still
be nice to your little daughter.
Seriously, especially if she's a beautiful little girl. You tell her she's a pretty little girl.
But I think her mom, was kind of the mind, look, beauty doesn't last. You're not going to be beautiful forever. Work on your other traits. Right?
Beauty doesn't last forever. Cellulite, on the other hand, lasts forever.
I fucking know.
Yeah.
So she went to private school in Vienna, where she excelled in all things, especially chemistry. And by the time she was 12, she entered a beauty contest without her mother's permission. She's just like, I'm doing it because I know I'm beautiful. And she won.
Good for her.
With the money she earned as a prize, she purchased her first fur coat at the age of 12. She's just like, I won, bitches. Here's my coat.
Wow. You get him, Hedwig. Hedwig.
Now, she claimed later that her childhood certainly had a mix of both funds and trauma in it.
Didn't everybody?
Right?
Oh, wait, I had no funds.
No, you funds. Get it?
Yeah,
okay.
But you got that.
I got that.
Thank you for that.
Your husband's an accountant.
Yeah. Which is, yes, why we have no funding. Okay.
All right, anyway, her early experiences included the attracting attention of a flasher.
Wait, a flasher?
A flasher.
Like a guy who opens his coat?
Yeah. She claimed that she had been raped.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
She also became the focus of attention of a lesbian cook and then a lesbian family friend, and herself had a teenage lesbian experience while studying in a finishing school in Switzerland. So Hedy was certainly bisexual. It was kind of like a mix of relationships. This is actually one of the reasons why she didn't like to be interviewed later in life, because she just figured that everyone was just going to go to her love affairs and various relationships in these interviews.
Judge, yeah.
And she's like,
well, it's not like people are judgy or anything.
Why can't you talk about my acting skills?
Yeah.
There are stories of her heading into the photography studio to have her portraits taken when she was 16, both with and without clothes. So she's just kind of like flaunting what she's got.
Okay.
Now, she was 16 when she first walked into a film studio in Vienna, and very quickly began turning heads. Like everyone was like,
yeah, she was stunning.
Who is she?
Yeah.
So very quickly she got walk-on roles, like within days of walking into the studio. But when she was 18 years old in 1933, she starred in the film entitled Ecstasy.
Oh, that sounds benign. Okay.
Where she appears naked, and there's also a scene where she appears to be having an orgasm.
So this is like primitive softcore.
Softcore,
really?
Softcore.
And she's 18.
Porn. She's 18. She claimed later that the director of the film, Gustav Mackenzie, had actually tricked her into all of it, but he claimed that she was well aware of what they were doing. The film got mixed reactions, right? Because it was kind of naughty. Hitler banned it, of course. The Pope denounced it, of course.
You think?
But critics seemed to like it. And she was now famous in Vienna, right? Now, she married her first husband when she was 19 years old, Fritz Mendel. He was 14 years older than her and allied with the Nazis.
Oh.
He was an armaments manufacturer. And he was the Henry Ford of Vienna. He had tons of money. He was super powerful.
But she knew he was working for the Nazis.
Yeah, she knew this. Yeah.
Oh.
They had a grand house with
bet.
big parties.
Of course they did. Her fur coats.
Yeah,
sure.
Jewelry. Her husband was incredibly jealous of her beauty and very kind of like
overprotective.
Yeah. He didn't like her acting.
Naturally.
He had the maids follow her and listen to her every conversation. So she was basically a trophy wife. She filled in prison.
And a prison.
Meanwhile, the war was beginning to heat up, and things were very scary for her, especially, people of Jewish heritage. Hedy's father was so nervous and upset about what was going on that he actually died from a heart attack. Yeah. Which that was the moment where Hedy's like, that's it, I'm out of here.
Oh.
So on one night in 1937, when her husband was having a dinner party, she went upstairs and put on a maid's coat. She had already planned this ahead of time. She sewed all of her jewelry into the inside of the coat. Yep. Sure. And then she drugged one of the maids so that she couldn't be watched, and she hightailed out of there, got on a bike, and flew away, which was pretty ballsy at the time. She made her way to England, where she kind of hid out for a bit. Now, she spent several months in London where she went to the movies, and while she was at a movie, she actually said, I don't recall what the movie was. I just remember as it was coming on, the MGM logo came up with the lion, and she's just like, I want to work for that company. So it was good timing because Louis B. Mayer, the head of MGM, was actually in London buying up British actors and actresses to take back to Hollywood.
Look at that. Fate steps in.
So she got her chance. She actually met him at a hotel. He offered her $125 a week, right? And she's like,
No.
He's like, $125 a week, and you got to promise to keep your clothes on, Miss Ecstasy. Right? Because everybody knew her from that.
Oh.
She's like, that's not enough. No thanks. And she walked out.
Wow.
You don't walk out on Louis B. Mayer. You don't.
No.
Right? So she immediately regretted it. She decided to book passage on the same ocean liner that he was taking to go back to the States. One night, she actually dolled up in her best dress, right, her best couture. She got all her makeup and her jewelry, and she pranced through the dining room on the ship like she was the hottest thing to slice bread.
I'm sure she was.
Literally, everybody's like, holy shit,
yeah.
You know? And Louis B. Mayer's like, all right, $500 a week. She's like, done. He's like, but you got to change your name. This Hedwig Kaiser thing.
Flying,
no, we can't do that. So his wife, Louis B. Mayer's wife, was like, I've always been very fond of Barbara Lamarr, who is a silent film actress. So they're like, okay, Hedy Lamarr. That's your new name.
There you go.
So she's like,
Done. So
she's in her early 20s. She's in Hollywood. She barely speaks any English. Right? She can sing a couple of American songs, but that's about it. She's now considered the most beautiful woman in the world.
Oh.
She sits down with an interview with the very famous and very infamous Hedda Hopper.
Right? Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And during this interview, Hedy actually puts on this whole like, oh yeah, ecstasy. I was forced into being naked on screen. I didn't know what I was doing.
So now she's a victim.
She's a victim, and everyone's like, oh.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now she starts landing major roles. Her first movie is Algiers in 1938, and she becomes an immediate star. But Louis B. Mayer kind of gave her bad scripts. Like she had a lot of bad films, a lot of flops. There's a bad marriage mixed in there, several bad marriages. Her first bad marriage after the armaments guy.
Wait, how'd she she's divorced from that guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now her next marriage is with Gene Markey, who's a screenwriter.
Okay.
He's not very attractive. I don't know. I mean, he hit the jackpot because she was beautiful, and he's kind of like pudgy, old, not that great.
She saw something in him.
She must have. And they actually adopted a son together, which is kind of a little muddy, which we'll talk about. She was working herself to the bone during this time. Now, when you worked for MGM, you signed a 7-year contract, right? Okay. And when you were filming 6 days a week, right? They gave you pills to keep you going, and they gave you pills to help you sleep.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
This would have long-term effects on actresses. Like Judy
Garland
Garland is,
yeah,
comes to mind.
That's right away.
Immediately.
Right.
The lifestyle, could kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, she had 2 major hit films with co-star Clark Gable, both in 1940. So she's filming 2 major films in 1940, Boomtown and Comrade X. These are 2 big films at the time. Now, as she finished her filming after a long day, instead of going out in the town and dining and stuff, she actually went home and worked on inventions because she was kind of bored with the films that they were giving her. She started dating Howard Hughes.
Oh,
right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another film guy, an inventor, right?
Yeah, makes
Big
sense.
guy.
That's true. Makes sense.
She actually helped him improve one of his designs for his planes to make it go faster. That's how smart she was.
That's not smart. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. She was brilliant.
Getting a lot of questions on Jeopardy makes you smart.
Right.
Helping planes and inventions that improve on mankind is freaking
brilliant.
Out of my league.
Yeah. Right. She said that he was actually a terrible lover. She's
compared to what?
All the other
everybody
guys
else.
Yeah. She said he was weird, brilliant, but weird.
I mean, I've always thought that really, really brilliant people are a little.
They tend to be a little weird,
a little quirky.
Did you ever see that the movie The Aviator? Is
that where Leo plays him? I did.
It's a wild film. If even half of that is true, the guy was.
Wouldn't surprise me, right? Yeah. Creative people and
the truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, right. So they got the quirks.
Yeah. So anyway, she invents...
I'm quirky and I'm not brilliant. I'm just weird.
Yeah, me too, yeah. She invented a little tablet that you could put in water and it would fizz to make Coca-Cola, basically.
Like an Alka-Seltzer?
Yeah, but an early form of that. She, of course, is most famous for inventing a secret way to prevent the jamming up of frequencies. Yeah. The frequency hopping technology, which is still used today. Right?
That's amazing.
It's the basis for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS. She hated Hitler, of course, naturally, didn't we all?
Yeah.
She hated what was happening overseas to her homeland of Vienna. Her son later said that she loved America and that she wanted to do what she could to help the war effort. She actually wanted to leave Hollywood. She's like, I just want to get out of... She
had enough.
She wanted to head to Washington and join the Inventors Council and help them with her brilliant mind. She's like, that's where I should be, right? So she worked with a friend of hers, an avant-garde composer named George Ento, on a frequency hopping project, which they knew would help guide torpedoes and help sink U-boats, right? That was the plan.
Wow.
The military actually turned down her idea in World War II.
Because why?
They said that she would be more helpful if she just went around selling war bonds with her cute little self.
You do better because you're pretty.
You're pretty. You can't possibly have a mind that
You
works.
can't make a military, something that'll help her. You're just so pretty.
You're so pretty.
Wow.
That's, of course, a bunch of manly men in World War II would say that. But
really,
her invention was actually used later on. The military actually did use it during the Cuban Missile Crisis in the 1960s. She never got any money from it, though.
Naturally.
Of course. But she went ahead and sold war bonds, right? Like millions of dollars worth of war bonds.
No doubt.
She was a patriot. She's like, okay, I'll do that. But by the way, here's this great invention that we got.
I could be saving lives, but I'll just
sell war bonds.
I'll be pretty.
During the 1940s, she continued in a series of films, some successful, some not. Like I said, Louis B. Mayer put her in some really bad films, including a horrible one called White Cargo, where she basically plays this like island native, and they made her skin look darker, and it's horrible. So it was kind of
racial,
naughty as well. It was almost as bad as Ecstasy, really. But in 1949, she starred with Victor Mature in a Cecil B. DeMille smash, Samson and Delilah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I saw that.
Yeah, and it won 2 Oscars.
Yeah,
so
that was fabulous.
It's a huge, great movie, yeah. Now, she wanted to do more than just play the beauty in these movies. She wanted to produce, right?
Sure.
She actually produced 3 films during her life, which was not something actresses did at that time. She was a first. Major Hollywood studios didn't like actors taking control like that.
Naturally.
They hated that.
Profit problem.
So she really was ahead of her time. In one of those films that she produced, which was called Dishonored Lady, she starred alongside a British actor named John Loder, who she married. And they had 2 kids with. Technically, they had 3 kids with. So that son that she supposedly adopted with her other marriage to the screenwriter
was this guy's kid.
Later, it was proven that she actually had this child out of wedlock with the actor.
So she said, he was adopted.
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't raise him, though. He went out and ended up going off to live with somebody else. She's not the best of moms either, apparently.
Apparently so.
Anyway, so she has this relationship, this new marriage with husband John Loder, who she said was incredibly boring, and the marriage ended. Sadly, none of the films that she produced did very well, and she kind of went into a bit of a decline during this period. She said that Hollywood broke her heart, and that she had basically had to put up a protective shell around herself, which she would pretty much do the rest of her life. She had a couple more marriages, which all went down the tubes. She was married a grand total of 6 times.
Wasn't everyone?
Six.
That's
a lot.
Yeah.
None of them lasted much more than 6 years.
Sure. Well.
She married a Texas oil man. Her last marriage was actually to her divorce lawyer. That's never a good thing.
All right.
That ended in 1965. So the last 35 years of her life, she was alone, single. She was very secluded, too. She didn't really spend time with people. In her later years, she kind of seemed to lash out at everybody, family, friends. I think it was like the combination of the Hollywood drugs and depression.
And putting up with everybody's bullshit.
And putting up with everybody's
It gets to a certain point where you say, I'm done.
Yeah. She was arrested for shoplifting in 1966, and then everybody was making fun of her. She became like the running joke the parody, basically.
Like Winona Ryder was the same thing.
Yeah, very
She
much
was
so.
picked up for shoplifting, and,
Yeah.
it just becomes a thing when rich people shoplift.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
She was super mad when Mel Brooks used her name in Blazing Saddles.
She didn't find it funny?
Yeah, Hedy Lamarr. She didn't get the joke. She said it infringed on her privacy. So she sued them.
She had no sense of humor, I bet.
I don't
bet
think
she
so.
doesn't sound like a funny person, like a good sense of humor.
By the 1980s, she moved to Miami Beach and pretty much shut herself off from the rest of the world. She didn't want anyone to see her, probably because her beauty was fading.
She was aging.
She was aging.
Yeah.
And she was doing a lot of plastic surgeries, like a lot.
Oh, back then?
A
Yeah.
She started doing plastic surgeries in her 40s. Yeah. And
What was Joan Rivers' joke? She was like, with all the plastic surgery, she's like, my face has seen more knives than Benihana. That was like, well, she would just be honest about it and joke with it, but that's scary stuff. Some of them, I mean, you see them now, they look like the Riddler.
Oh, I know.
That pulled back face, and I'm like, what? What the hell? I don't know.
Yeah, her son said at the end she was just one plastic surgery after the other to fix the mistake of the previous surgery.
They start looking like the Riddler and stuff. It's scary. It's like a mask.
It's not good.
Oh.
And it becomes an addiction, I think.
I think so too, because you want to improve, but especially, usually women with such natural beauty like she had just age gracefully, and it's not terrible.
No.
It beats what you're doing to yourself. But what do I know?
Anyway, sadly, she died alone on January 19th, 2000 of heart disease at the age of 85.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's her son had spread her ashes in a forest in Vienna, and that's it.
Wow, sad but true.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beauty and brains. And that is a very dangerous, threatening combination.
For women,
For
absolutely.
women. Well, maybe even for men.
Yeah.
But that really is. She was stunning.
She was, yeah.
I remember, seeing some of her pictures, and good story, Shan. Good story.
Yeah, no.
All right.
All right. There you have it, folks.
All right, breathers. You guys can always interact with us, or if you want to, and find us and tell us what you think, because
absolutely.
I already know what I think, and I usually know what Shannon thinks.
You can email us favoritedeadpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. We'd like to know what you think and engage with you while you're still breathing.
While you're still breathing.
Because once you stop breathing, we're going to talk about you.
That's right. Gonna talk some shit.
That's it. Because that's how we roll.
On another
wonderful
episode
of All My Favorite People Are Dead. See you.
Bye, breathers.
I know that you think